Take a look at this daring parenting invention from the 1930s. The baby cage was designed to hang outside apartment windows, giving babies fresh air and sunlight, even if it was a bit risky. In crowded cities with limited outdoor space, parents thought this was a clever way to keep kids healthy. Hard to imagine today, though, trusting a cage dangling off a high-rise, right? What you're looking at is the largest crocodile ever recorded, a whopping 28 feet, 8.6 meters long. This monster was taken down by a hunter in Queensland, Australia, back in 1957. Imagine the courage, or maybe the madness, it took to face a creature of this scale. Crocodiles like this ruled their territories with incredible power, and it's hard to believe the danger they posed. This photo shows the winners of the Miss Perfect Posture contest from 1956. Yes, you heard that right. A posture contest. These ladies weren't judged by beauty alone, but by how evenly they distributed their weight. Standing on two scales, they aimed for a perfect 50-50 split to prove their perfect posture. Behind them, you can even see X-rays showing how aligned they were. Winners took home trophies for their perfect posture. Imagine a pageant like this today. Check out this wild piece of diving history, the Iron Man suit. Doesn't it look like something out of an old sci-fi comic? This heavy-duty diving suit was packed with advanced features for the time, like electric charging and a pressure protection system. Imagine how bulky and claustrophobic it must have felt inside. Back in 1907, diving technology was still new, and this suit let divers explore the ocean depths like never before. Here's a photo from 1930 of a young boy with a rather unusual companion, a riding boar. Yes, you heard that right, a saddle on a boar. Can you imagine trotting through town on this beast instead of a horse? The 1930s had some wild ideas for fun, and apparently riding a pig was one of them. This little guy looks ready to conquer the world, one muddy trail at a time. Who needs horsepower when you've got pork power, right? This photo was taken in Montana in 1901, and it shows a group of rugged woodsmen so desperate for companionship that they put up a sign reading, "Wives Wanted." Imagine life back then, remote, isolated, and freezing cold. Instead of Tinder, they went old school with handwritten signs. It's funny, but also a little sad, thinking of how isolated they were. Here's a photo as daring as it is bizarre. A circus performer squeezed into a glass tank with crocodiles in Berlin, 1933. Dressed in performance gear, he's face to face with some serious teeth. This kind of act was a big attraction back then, thrilling audiences who craved risky spectacles. This photo from 1941 shows soldiers in full gas masks, but not for a battle. Nope, they're just peeling onions. That's right. These soldiers used their gas masks to avoid the tears that come with cutting onions. A funny moment in an otherwise serious time. Here's a heartwarming piece of history. This 1939 photo shows flour sacks printed with pretty patterns. During the Great Depression, families couldn't afford fabric, so they used flour sacks to make clothes for their kids. Flour mills even began printing colorful designs to give families a little extra style. Imagine wearing clothes made from flour sacks. Talk about resourcefulness. Alright, check this out. Back in 1903, a fisherman named Edward Llewellyn pulled in the world's largest black sea bass at the time, a whopping 425 pounds. Imagine the struggle to bring it home by himself. Standing next to this gigantic fish, Edward looks tiny. It's like a bizarre version of man versus nature. Look at this quirky scene from 1922. Kids learning how to swim in a schoolyard with no water in sight. Lying on the ground, arms and legs stretched, they paddled through an imaginary pool. It's funny now, but back then, it was a creative way to teach swimming skills when resources were limited. Here's a sight you don't see every day. A British bulldog on guard duty during the Blitz in the 1940s. This tough little guy, complete with a helmet, sat proudly in front of a sandbagged wall. With his helmet and stern look, he's like a tiny, furry soldier. It's a funny and charming reminder of British resilience during Gobleifu. What you're seeing here is an Army Sikorsky R-5 helicopter, showing off its lifting power by carrying 17 people, plus the pilot. This photo was taken in 1946 during record-setting trials. Watching the helicopter soar with so many people must have been amazing. A true sky-high achievement. Here's a wild look at early telecommunications. This is Stockholm's Telefon Tornet, taken in 1890, connecting over 5,000 telephone lines across the city. Just look at that web of wires. It was a high-tech marvel of the time, even if it looks like a giant spider's web today. This photo shows a young girl in a medical ward with a pond of fuzzy ducklings as therapy animals. Back then, animal therapy was a way to lift children's spirits, adding a bit of joy to tough treatments. Simple but effective. Here's a woman riding one of the earliest scooters. Unlike today's sleek models, this chunky gas-powered beauty was the great-grandparent of modern scooters. She looks pretty cool cruising down the empty streets. This 1935 photo captures a woman smiling with a candle in hand, standing beside rows of skulls in the Paris catacombs. These catacombs hold the remains of around 6 million people, transferred from overcrowded cemeteries in the 18th century. Today, it's a unique tourist attraction, a mix of history and eeriness under Paris's bustling streets. Here's a strange photo from Vienna in 1934, an armored car resembling something out of a sci-fi movie. Used by the Austrian paramilitary Heimwehr, this vehicle helped support Austria's authoritarian government during a tense period known as the Austrian Civil War. This oddly shaped fortified car was part of a political strategy that now feels more surreal than threatening. Take a look at this wild photo from the 1920s. Ivan Unger and Gladys Roy play tennis, not on the ground, but on airplane wings in mid-flight. Gladys, famous for her daring stunts, performed gravity-defying acts for crowds across America. Sadly, her life was cut short in an aviation accident in 1927. Look at this amazing contraption, Oldriev's tricycle from 1882. Back in the 19th century, inventors got creative with transportation designs. It may look strange today, but back then, it was part of a quirky push for more efficient travel. Here's a bizarre cavalry training photo. Soldiers calmly sit at a table while a fellow cavalryman jumps his horse right over them. Cavalry training was intense, and these stunts prepared soldiers for battlefield agility, making sure both horse and rider were ready for anything. Here's an incredible story. You're looking at Anne Hodges, the only documented person in history to be hit by a meteorite. In 1954, a meteorite crashed through her ceiling and hit her thigh, making her a historical figure overnight. The incident sparked a legal dispute with her landlord, and eventually, Anne donated it to a museum. Here's a moment of unexpected kindness from the battlefield. During the intense Battle of Saipan in 1944, a soldier took a break to share his banana with a goat. Even amid the chaos of war, small gestures like these reminded soldiers of the comforts of home. And here's one final image, a reminder of how attitudes have changed over time. Italian explorer Attilio Gatti poses with 2 hired pygmies and a massive gorilla they captured in the Belgian Congo. Once seen as a grand achievement, it's now a reminder of how far we've come in our understanding of animals and conservation. If you enjoyed these rare and fascinating glimpses into the past, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Lens of Time. We've got plenty more strange, funny, and rare historical photos coming your way. Don't miss out on these one-of-a-kind moments from history.